You want to go to Taco Bell?
Oh my God!
Endorphins make you happy. Happy people just don't shoot their husbands.
Speaking of illegal, like, have you ever, committed a crime?
Yes. One time I stole red underwear from the department store. My mother wouldn't buy them for me. She said they were Satan's panties.
Having a girls' night tonight.
Girls' night? What does that entail?
Well, you know, girls get together, hang out, share girl talk.
I'm a girl.
Come on. Girls' night, girls' night.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Inside the Booth. Gather round, folks. It is Girls' Night. Woot woot. I love Girls' Night edition here on Inside the Booth, and I hope that you do too. Please hit the like button for us. If you aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. But if you haven't and you're hesitant to even do that, because obviously it's the beginning of the show, then please feel free to rest your hand. Just sit back. I want you to have a front row seat to tonight's special edition show. And if you like what you see, then feel free to actually hit the like button and all that good stuff. If you're new here, my name is Tabitha. I am one of the hosts for Inside the Booth. Typically we do movie reviews here every Sunday and Tuesday night, but we like to mix things up. We like to spice things up and do things a little differently. Girls' night, not just for the ladies though. So if you're a dude, we're totally glad that you're here, especially for tonight's episode, because we are going to be discussing cringy, macho, manly movies. Or maybe they're not so cringy. Maybe you have a preference, a favorite if you're a man or a woman. And you've got something that, there's just something about these over-the-top, explosive, in-your-face, blood-gushing everywhere movies that we just like, I gotta have more of it. I put out on Twitter that, where you can also follow me there, I put out on Twitter, what are some of your favorite manly movies? And a lot of them were mentioning Die Hard, The Last Samurai, Maverick, all kinds of things. So, you know, we might discuss all of them. Who knows? I don't know. I have a really awesome panel for tonight. But interesting enough, the definition for masculinity is very, very vague. It basically, the definition is attributes of a man. So it's open up to interpretation, especially here in 2022. We're going to try to keep things a little traditional around here. But again, we have an awesome panel tonight, and I'm going to bring them on here. And what we're going to do tonight, just let you guys know, is we're going to list our top 3 cringiest macho manly movies, and then contrast them with masculine men, with what we would perceive as true masculine men. Okay, so it's just a little different. If you didn't watch one of our previous Girls' Night, we discussed villains, why we love to hate them and hate to love them. That was an awesome episode. It absolutely was. And if you haven't seen it, you should go check it out after this show. I'm just going to quickly go over here. Yeah, I'm going to bring it. I've got my notes. If you're around much on Inside the Booth, you know I need to have me some notes. But we're just going to go ahead and start bringing on our lovely panel. The first to be with us is Mrs. R2, also known as Princess Deanna or D. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Are you excited to talk about macho manly movie?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be bringing it. And you, of course, can follow her here on Twitter. And also, there are some links in the description box below. R2 is her husband. He's notorious around these parts, known as the Clipper, because he likes to clip pieces of snippets of people and then make fun of them on Twitter. And that's lots of fun. But he also runs a show along with the Geeky Crocheter, Maria, Unlocking More After the Weekend. The link is down below as well to her YouTube channel. Tell us a little bit about what you do, Maria, on your channel specifically, if you don't mind.
On my channel specifically, well, what don't I do? But right now, right now on my personal channel, I am a full-blown storyteller, traditional stuff, the one-on-one, eye-to-eye story nights on Thursdays. That is at 8:15 Central Time right now, and that's what I do on my main channel. On my other channel with my two co-hosts, who are great men, actually, JT Gunter, who is here, and of course the great R2 Clips. We do movie reviews. Well, I think I'd be infamous. Well, to each his own, R2, to each his own. And there she is. There she is. Heidi. Yeah, so we do movie reviews, we do hangouts, we do game nights. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff in the future.
I can't wait. I was supposed to be a guest on your channel, and R2 decided to get sick. You know, I think he was just afraid he was going to lose. Unless he was going to be the host of the show, then he, would have been great.
No, he is the host of the show, but he didn't. He does get to play. He does get to play.
See. I was all revved and geared up, but we'll talk more about that later on. We love R2 and his whole family here, and I see little Spidey in the chat as well. So time to bring on our last guest. First time for her being on this channel. We are super excited. I can't wait to hear what this woman has to say this evening. Welcome, Dani from Comics and Cosmetics.
Hey.
And of course, I have her information down below, and you can follow her on Twitter. Super excited. Dani, you've got an exciting background going on over there, and an explosive, beautiful application of, I was going to say face paint, same thing, of makeup going on. Tell us a little about yourself and what you do.
There's our painting, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love that painting. It turned out so good.
Oh, the stupid tripod. Okay.
Oh, that's right. We forgot to pray for your tripod. But what do you do on Comics and Cosmetics?
Well, on Comics and Cosmetics, every Saturday, I drop a video where I break down or dive into whatever nerdy topic or character I've been obsessing about that week while doing my makeup at the same time while you creepers watch. And
wow. I didn't realize being a supporter of your channel was going to get me labeled as a creeper.
Oh, boy.
We're all creepers. Subscribe to her channel if you want to be a comic and cosmetics creeper, everybody.
Or we call you, hashtag, here we go, hashtag sexy nerdlings, or, hashtag nerdling army. But Sundays are for pre-recorded, fully edited, fun deep dives into characters, shows, topics, while I'm just doing my makeup at the same time. The makeup's kind of an afterthought for those. And then every Sunday, we have a live show where we talk about whatever show's going on. Like right now, we talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, and then sometimes I have other YouTubers come on and we talk about their favorite nerdy topic while I teach them professional makeup tips.
Ooh,
I am excited. I'm excited. You were talking about teaching people about makeup, and I'm like, oh, those would be really cool shows to creep on.
You inspired me for that one from our painting video. So I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I'm going to steal her idea.
That's what we're supposed to do, especially as artists. How did that go? I read an article one time. It's not really so much stealing as it is inspiring others to recreate.
To bloom.
Yes.
I mean, that's just a fancy way of saying stealing, but
Oh,
it works. Hey, it works.
Speaking of my explosive background, and not just, I always get twisted up. Our painting right here, but I have several stickers back here that Princess Di has made for me.
Look!
That's right.
Yeah.
She is awesome at making the stickers. Absolutely.
I should show you guys my new project that I'm working on.
I got my own stickers right here.
So I put a bunch of stickers on this tray, and I'm going to put some clear epoxy over it as a table.
Your camera is, just let you know, your camera is frozen for us, or at least it is on my end, so I can hear you clearly, but I can't see you moving. R2, get on
hey.
There it is. Oh, there it is.
You see it?
Maria's like, don't
Yeah.
Don't look at all that.
Oh my gosh! Look at that.
I see me.
That looks so good.
Yeah, so it's a tray. It's gonna be on the table, and so I'm gonna put some clear epoxy on it, and it's going to be a table.
You are so cool.
A great idea.
That is so awesome.
Maria, don't you see yourself? You're right there.
There's my fucking lore. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited.
That's so cool.
Well, it is so cool that we're all represented here in different ways, and you can see clearly, except for Maria, that we're all nerds. You have to listen to Maria to understand that she is, a nerd because her background's blank. I'm just saying, we got all our stuff in the background.
I know I have a background of IKEA, but you don't have to rub it in.
Okay, well, so anyway, getting on with the show. Yes, like I said, there we go. We've got an awesome group of ladies, as you can clearly see. Hopefully by now you've been inspired to hit that like button. And just saying, if you like the show and you want to support us, like I said, it's girls' night. If you want to be throwing us some ones, you very well could in a PayPal link down below. I'm just saying. So, hey, Matt Vader, good to see you there. Too much estrogen here. Well, it's about to get real because the estrogen is coming like. Oh man. So I want to just quickly do a disclaimer here before we actually get on to our Macho Manly movies here, is that, guys, we are not here to bash men. I speak for myself. I'm pretty sure I speak for everybody here that men are great. Men are pretty awesome. Everybody has a role to play in this world, and men are no better than women. Women are no better than men. We're on equal playing fields. We all have something to contribute. We're just going to be talking about differences in how women and men view things, and just some of and maybe poking a little fun. But we're not man hating.
Well, it is ladies' night.
It is ladies' night. So let's get on with it, okay? So, like I said before, we are going to be talking about our top 3 cringiest man movies, like whether we're talking about the man itself, the leading man, or the movie franchise in and of itself. I'm going to go first, and we'll make ourselves go around the table. So this is going to be controversial, at least for a lot of the guys in the chat. I'm a little scared to bring it. I'm going to have to do it. I would say my first cringy manly movie. Oh my gosh, here it comes, guys. You ready? It's got to be Top Gun. Okay. So I am not a huge young Tom Cruise fan. Okay,
I'm not a Tom Cruise fan, period.
So I'm not like a huge Tom Cruise fan, but when he was younger, and this especially like in Top Gun, and even in like the early, I guess I could just lump it together, the Mission Impossible movies. But this movie, I just recently watched this movie again because the new one, Maverick, came out, and I needed a refresher of what was going on. And I know I see Matt Vader's like, I knew you were gonna get. I knew you were gonna get some comments on this. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna throw this out here. Maverick was great. I would watch that movie over and over again. In fact, I think that Maverick doesn't even need Top Gun to be understood as a great film. Just my saying. So
I still haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to talk about Maverick.
I'm just saying.
I really enjoyed it. But as far as cringy manly movies, a lot of guys talk about Top Gun. And I don't really like Top Gun as much for the reason that his character, Maverick, is so arrogant, okay? Like, he just thinks he knows everything. And yes, he is good at what he does. I will say that. It's just the fact that there's a fine line for me personally between arrogance and confidence. And when that line is crossed, that man is no longer attractive. That man is no longer interesting to me. I know a lot of guys like, Top Gun because it's like, yeah, he got the job done and he doesn't take crap off of no one and all that. That's fine in and of its place. But I really just don't like it when men become so arrogant. Maybe this is why I'm usually always attracted to older men, because younger guys seem to have this issue, is that they just they think they can own it all, they can do it all, and the fact that he gets the woman, even though she knows what a butthead he is, like that just drives me crazy. I cannot stand it. Okay, I cannot stand it.
Oh boy.
I'm glad I got that off my chest. Maverick, I love. Top Gun, I cannot stand. Thoughts?
You probably just lost like 3 or 4 subscribers.
These are not. I also didn't say these are not reflections of Dan, David, and Matthew's opinions. Okay, this is purely Tabitha. I do not speak for everybody on Inside the Booth.
You see, I have to disagree with you, Tabitha.
Okay.
I do think it's not cringy in my book. It's not that I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan, but I do have to admit that his acting is really good, and I do enjoy most of his movies. Not all of them.
Yeah, he is a good actor.
He's not like Ben Stiller, who I cannot see even on like nothing. Zero Ben Stiller.
I just can't with Tom Cruise. I just can't. He's so pretentious and weird, and I always think of that scene in Talladega Nights when Will Ferrell's running around in his underwear going, "Help me, Oprah Winfrey! Help me, Tom Cruise!"
Okay.
So
here's my reason. I think that Top Gun is actually a character, a very, very important character development. Yes, he does have the arrogance because he knows he's good. He knows he's really good, and that is definitely not a virtue that he has. But the fact is that when it hits hard, which is when Goose dies, his arrogance goes down, and he knows that there's a difference now between confidence and arrogance, and he knows that he crossed that line. Unfortunately, it had to take the life of his best friend, his sworn brother. But that's why I think that Top Gun is not cringy, because you have the first character and you see how he develops, into the second one. So.
Right, that is a very good point. I do see Rogue Disney saying, so you say this is not man bashing and you bash a masculine trait. Arrogance, it should not be a masculine trait. I think that's across the board. I don't know if that's the trait you're talking about, but arrogance and confidence is across the board as well. I appreciate a confident man. I absolutely do. Like I said, there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, and that is why I have a hard time.
Yeah, we're talking about when they're overconfident to the point where they're high up looking down on all of us.
Yeah.
The type that, I could get any woman I want, so they treat all women like picking them up at the dollar store.
And I just have and I have a hard time with women like in this film where she can see that he is the way he is.
Weak-minded.
And then she falls for him anyway. And I'm like, girl, bye. Okay.
Yeah.
We're starting
you walked right into that one, sister.
Yeah. So I will contrast that. Okay. I will contrast that with, and this is going to sound a little bizarre perhaps, but let me explain, is I'm going to contrast Tom Cruise's Top Gun with John Wayne in pretty much any John Wayne film because he's the same guy. John Wayne, I would not want to marry this man. Let me put it that way. Okay. I'm not saying he's perfect. Got his flaws, his character anyway. Obviously in real life, he did too. But he didn't need to brag about what he could do. He just did it. He knew he was good at it, but he didn't need to go around telling people about it. And he just expected himself to be a hard worker and get the job done. There was no point in going around telling the whole townsfolk and belittling people for that. So that would be my contrast, is like I see John Wayne as a confident masculine man that to me is not necessarily cringy. Again, I wouldn't want to marry this man. I couldn't put up with his attitude, but for me, oh man, look, we are losing panelists and everything.
No,
this is so sad. This is so sad.
My daughter's bedroom is directly beneath me, and she's on the phone gossiping about something quite exciting for 13-year-olds, and I had to use what R2 calls my whooping stick to kind of bang on the floor to like, not now. That's why it's there.
Dax, I understand that you got a pilot friend that was cocky and arrogant or almost required. I do. I get that. I'm not, that's again, this is a difference. I'm not saying that people that are like this are trash. Okay, I'm not saying we don't need some people like this. I'm just saying for me personally, as a film, I'm not pointing out people specifically. I'm just talking about the movies. I have a hard time with that. And so I like John Wayne movies in contrast. I like a confident man that doesn't need to go around bragging about it, So Mrs. R2 is going through some technical difficulties. So she might get what she asked for at the beginning of when we were talking. So Maria, why don't you go second?
Right. Okay. So we're going to do one movie and contrast with one. Okay. So I guess, look, I actually looked up manliest movies ever made. manliest movies ever made. So to see like what
I did the same thing.
and the things that came up, I was like, well, I understand this. So I think I'm going to go with the first one, and it is, gosh, this is hard.
It is hard, right? You feel like it's blasphemy because they're so beloved, right? Like I'm pretty sure. I think I know which one you're going to talk about.
Okay, well, maybe. Well, I think the first one that I'm going to go for is, you know, the movie in general, First Blood. The Rambo.
Oh, Rambo, yeah.
Okay. And here's why.
Ooh,
it's like,
here it comes.
It's not, oh. Look at that. Oh, God. No, I can't do this, man. This is so hard.
Do you need to turn your camera off so people can't see you?
It's just it's not the bloody part because and I'm going to contrast it with my other one. It's just like way too, there's no heart in it. Personally, I knew Maria was cool. Thank you, JT. I knew it. Let's just say, I know I'm probably gonna get canceled. Yeah,
all the men will cancel us.
But wait, hang on a second. Back. Just hang on. Yeah.
I mean, Diana's back.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Sorry.
And it's like Rambo. I don't know. It's just he's not like the type of man that I would engage in a relationship or maybe a conversation. But I mean, that's probably.
Isn't he like a Vietnam War vet or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Back.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. No. Now, I know that here's the thing, because this is again, you have to remember that this is my perspective as and as my perspective as a woman, and I'm talking of my own. Mm-hmm. I think the way they portray masculinity in Rambo is not complete. It's just one segment.
I'm sorry, Dex. It's because you can't understand what he's saying.
Well, that would be every Sylvester Stallone movie.
Yeah, that would be also. That would be also. Okay, so that's another aspect. Thank you, Dax. You see, they do good comments there. I'm so nervous. So I guess the way they portray masculinity is like not something that is like very attractive to me. Whereas I'm going to contrast this with actually the Mel Gibson movie Braveheart.
There she is, or is it this way? It's this way.
Didn't mean to confuse you. Okay, you're going to contrast. Okay. Oh, nice contrast. Yeah. Yes.
So why did I choose these two? Because they are both very, very violent movies. Okay. You got Rambo, you got super, super like bloody boom, boom, boom. Okay. You got all steels and nerves and other things that I'm not going to get into. And you have Mel Gibson's figure of a man who has been through hardships. Rambo has also been through hardships. He is a non-veteran. And you have oh gosh, his name I keep forgetting. The Mel Gibson character of Braveheart.
William Wallace.
Guys, William Wallace. Yes. Wallace. Yes, William Wallace. So you have and actually it's like the movie is basically most of it violence, but it's motivated by something different. And you see a complete man. He's protective. Okay, he is generous. He's thoughtful. He's intelligent. He's smart, but he's also at some point very ruthless.
Right.
He's very ruthless
when he needs to be. Yeah.
When he needs to be. Exactly. That's the thing. When he needs to be. I mean, obviously Rambo, he needs to be that way, but I see a more complete and masculine man in William Wallace, portrayed in Mel Gibson movie, than in Rambo, for example. And I don't understand.
It's probably the skirt. Excuse me, not the skirt. It's probably the kilt.
It's a kilt.
It's the kilt. I see that Rogue says, I sense a lot of privilege here. Look, hey, you didn't have to come to girls' night, okay?
No.
We're giving you the raw, real deal. And again, this is, I hope everybody understands. We are not necessarily judging individual men. It's more about Hollywood. Also, it's like Hollywood's conception of a lot, and I guess some men's conception of perception of what is a masculine man. And I hope this is also educational for some people. You know, we are all for different women, different walks of life, different ages, different backgrounds. And so it'd be interesting. I think it's interesting to hear what similarities and differences we're going to have talking about these movies and these characters. I think that was a very interesting. I was going to pick Rambo, but I was like, no, I didn't find it too cringe, to be honest, for me. I mean, yeah, it was another,
Macho Man
movie, but that movie didn't cringe with me.
Okay.
So for that, but that's interesting. Mrs. R2 says you got your wish. You're going to go third. I think you did that on purpose. I think you sabotaged yourself.
I can't control the camera.
But if you would like to go and tell us, what is your cringe movie versus
the first cringe movie I picked was Bloodsport. So I think anything like Van Damme, like
muscles from Brussels.
Yeah, exactly. And
I hope you're wearing waterproof.
Anything
what was cringe on there for me? What was cringe on there was the dancing. His dancing.
Oh yeah,
his dancing.
A different kind of cringe.
Yeah, that's a different kind of cringe.
That's great.
I was like, he's there for a full contact martial art, competition, and then like he goes to this bar and he's just like letting it loose. So I was like, what the heck is he doing?
Well, they got him 2 sheets to the wind, though. It's not his fault.
I don't. If I have seen that movie, it has been a long time.
Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite movies.
Can you walk me through a quick summary of what the film is about?
So this guy Frank Dukes, he was in the military and he was basically raised by this Japanese man and studied martial arts, and he gets invited to this very almost like secret society tournament called the Kumite. And it's like the first time they've really, invited all these outsiders in, and the government wants him to kind of spy on what's going on.
Okay. So besides the dancing, was there anything else you found cringy about this movie? Because, I mean, we could pull out High School Musical. We could pull out, like all kinds of films with dancing. So what exactly is it about the film that you find cringe?
Well, I mean, I think it was like overdone, like some of the martial arts. But I was in martial arts myself. So I don't know. Some of that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, some of that stuff I just thought maybe it was a little overdone.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. Do you have a contrast for that film then? Maybe some good dancing?
Good dancing? Let's see.
No way.
I remember this movie, maybe it's the same one, but I remember a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie where they had this tournament also, and they had like different types of martial arts. I can't remember what the name of that movie. It was a really good movie because you could see like the different styles. You got Thai, you got sumo wrestling, you got the Chinese, the Kung Fu, and in the Kung Fu you had, snake style, you had monkey style, you had tiger style. It was so amazing.
I don't remember the movie, but I know you're talking about.
It's just, I love martial arts by itself.
I do too. Even if it's something as ridiculous as a Jackie Chan movie, like I love it. In fact, that's more creative. I love it.
I took Aikido for a while when I was much younger.
Yeah, I took Taekwondo.
I did Taekwondo
and Eskrima.
Kung Fu, and Kung Fu.
I would
have loved to do Kung Fu. I tried to do Kung Fu, but my dad never allowed me. I tried to convince him.
It was
toxic masculinity.
In my household. My dad, he encouraged me to do all that stuff.
Well, so like I said, was that your contrast? Like, did you?
No. So my contrast part, I mean, I was gonna say, Braveheart, but since that one was done, I would say like Saving Private Ryan. I love that movie, and it's just like it's like No Man Left Behind, right? Because like the parachuter was on the other side, the other lines, over the lines, and they had to go get him. So I'm like, that'd be another one I would say that's a really great war movie.
Yes, yeah. A lot of I've heard of a lot of men discuss how much they enjoy Saving Private Ryan, and I too found it. I am a big military movie person, having grown up in a military family, and my dad watched them all the time, and we kind of didn't have a choice in what was being watched. So I'm like, I watched that movie a while ago, and I was really touched by the rawness, the authenticity of that behind it. Dani, would you like to go?
Well, yeah. So this was.
Oh
no! I ran her off.
She's
Come back! Wait, you keep stopping.
Stop it!
Just hold hands. Hold hands.
No, that's the other side. Get off me.
Girls. Well, but go ahead.
Why don't we ever talk about toxic femininity?
Oh. We could do that another girls' night. Why we hate women.
Oh God.
Boy, you and I talked about
that
this
would be
before.
A show. That would be a show and a half,
like,
wouldn't it?
Why can't we just support one another?
The guys might think we might be being rude about all these men. You haven't heard being rude. So you've got a bunch of women talking about how they don't like a bunch of women.
Oh boy.
Y'all got no idea.
But we want this to be entertainment. We don't want this to be like what they would say, a cat fight. So go ahead, Dani, talk about cringe manly movies here.
Okay, so this one was kind of hard for me because I've never been a chick flick fan. I guess I've always liked the manly movies. I mean, so like action films, sci-fi, all that stuff. But I will say, so I may have to belch. I'm so sorry.
Well, it is macho manly movie night. So if you want to get in touch with your inner man, I guess, or you can mute yourself. Either way, there's options.
Ouch.
Okay.
I should have blown you up for that.
So, my dad is a huge fan of the Snake Plissken movies. Escape from New York, Escape from LA. And those movies always drove me crazy. Have you seen the Escape from New York and Escape from LA?
I haven't. It's kind of on the list. No. Yeah.
Well, it's Kurt Russell, and it's a post-apocalyptic world, and cities are now like prisons, like the entire city.
Mm-hmm.
And Snake Plissken's got an eye patch, and he's just like cheap toilet paper, rough, tough, and don't take poop off anybody.
Ew.
And
okay,
he never needs help. He never needs directions. He never even needs a match. He can just stare at something and he lights a cigarette. It's just.
I can understand now.
And okay, and it's. The women around him either are, string bikini fawning over him or falling over themselves and need help. It's just so annoying. It's like, really? Like, not one of them's got a brain in their head.
See?
And with that being said, I love Harrison Ford. I love Indiana Jones movies.
Mm-hmm.
However, the Indiana Jones movies and
wait, is that your contrast?
No.
Okay.
No, this is that kind of that same area. I love Indiana Jones movies.
Okay.
But the women in the movies are either bimbos or evil. And he's a lovable rogue, but he's really smart and he's a professor, so it's okay. Why?
Right.
I don't get that stuff. And like I said, I love the Indiana Jones movies. Mm-hmm. But I mean, come on. Like Finger in the air. Kate Capshaw in Temple of Doom. She is the most obnoxious human being in the planet.
Remember, we're talking about guys, not the women. We'll do that next.
Well, what I'm saying is that this is a male-driven, male lead movie. So it's these types of movies that I'm talking about, where in order to keep making this man look like he's the epitome of manly, we've got this dumb bimbo next to it.
I've never thought about it like that, in that kind of sense, that in order, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's narcissism, but like in order for the man to look better, we need to make the woman look less.
Like standing next to your ugly friend.
I have no ugly friends.
I hope you didn't mean me, Dani.
Why would you think that? Why would you think that?
I don't know. Standing right beside your ugly friend.
It's okay. So in a beautiful mind, where he had that equation. It's like that. It's like that beautiful mind equation, and that stuff just drives me crazy. And now,
like what Jackson's saying, and again, this is not strictly towards men per se. It goes both ways. I mean, there are plenty of chick flicks where the dude is so cringy. We should talk about that. Cringy chick flicks where the guys don't have a spine. The guys have no confidence. They have no idea of self-value, and they just get led around by the nose. But that is not okay, and that is really cringy too. So, in contrast to, the bimbo living, men.
The uber infallible, roguish, tramp in the sense of tramp in the sense that they travel around.
Right.
Okay.
With the, paired with a woman, I'm gonna say the Batman, and I know that's a crazy pick, but
the current one right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but the reason why is Selena Kyle.
Sorry.
Yes, Selena Kyle is a waitress and working in this underground illegal there's illegal activity going on in this club. And in the comics, she was a sex worker, but she's not a dumb bimbo, and she can totally take care of herself. She doesn't need him around. She ends up wanting him around, but she doesn't need him to survive. And in these other movies that I've mentioned, they would not survive without that man who's treating them like crap and dragging them everywhere. But in the Batman, we get the female opposite the male, but she's not a dumb bimbo. She's smart and capable.
Fair enough.
Very interesting contrast. I never would have thought of that, but I think that was very well, compared like that. I never would have thought of that. Was
you're
welcome. So welcome. Okay. That was a good round. My goodness. And I love the diversity in the ideas, like these combinations. This is nice. I like it. Okay, so my second cringe movie, and I have to be guilty of enjoying these films, but is there a way to enjoy a cringe film at the same time kind of hating it? I think it has to do with age or maturity. Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad. Is good evening, Jacob. Glad that you're here. Brace yourselves, man. We hitting it
That's
hard.
an interesting film title.
Inspired.
Olia says she didn't like Selena in the new Batman, but that's just her. I've heard that as well. A lot of people did not like what's her name? Zoe Kravitz as her. I thought she did a really good job. She's not my favorite. I just thought she did a good job.
My point was it wasn't really a commentary on whether or not I liked the character. It was no matter what,
how the man and women were treating each other. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. It was just kind of tangent there. My second one would be that, again, I enjoy these movies, but it is, now that I'm older, very cringy for me. Decades and decades of beloved films is James Bond.
That was mine.
That's okay. Maybe we had
that is mine.
James Bond is because I think I really don't think I need to say much for everybody to understand.
I agree with you. I'm sorry.
I think we can all agree it is. My biggest hang up with James Bond is the fact that he can use women like Kleenexes and they're all okay with that. Is the fact that none of them are special, and even if one of them happen to be special, they're not. And it doesn't matter how smart they are, it doesn't matter how much of a bimbo they are, it doesn't matter their occupation, their age, that none of them can help themselves. Like he's some kind of drug that they are just naturally addicted to. And that, and again, I know that these movies are not meant to be this realistic. We're going really hard at these things. We understand that this is entertainment. Okay, like nobody freak out. I still watch these movies. I think there's a lot of dynamic, traits and things like that to the films that I really enjoy. I love the espionage and everything like that. It's just, like this man has it all. He has the looks, at least some of them. I don't like Daniel Craig as Bond, but anyway, he has the looks. I can't dig it, man. He has the looks. He knows how, he dresses all suave. That's the part that gets me really confused when it comes to men. Like most men don't seem to like dressing up, but for some reason we're like James Bond. Like when's the last time you saw him running around with a pair of Crocs with some camo shorts? Like it doesn't happen.
That's true.
He's always looking nice.
I'm
somehow
saving all my comments about the Bond films until it's my turn because that was my number 2 too.
Absolutely. So that is what I have a hard time with, is that he is kind of, there are some areas where James needs to grow in certain films where they go a little bit deeper into his personality. However, on the surface, I'm going to get a lot for this. He is basically Ray. He can't do anything wrong. Yes. He is good at every freaking thing that he does. And every woman scorns.
So a woman is a Mary Sue. What would be a man?
It's Mary Sue. Yeah, it's still Mary Sue.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Marty Joe.
Marty Joe.
It's just a character description. It's just a Mary Sue.
It's just, and again, I will watch me a James Bond film. I have some preferences. Pierce Brosnan is my favorite James Bond. Ooh. Hate me however you will, but I loved The World Is Not Enough. It's my favorite one. And
we got Gary Stu and Jerry Stu.
I like that Gary Stu. Yeah, Gary and Barry Stu. So to contrast James Bond, going a little old school here, I picked Tom Selleck because he is a very masculine man. At the same time, he can be quite elegant in the way that he dresses nicely. His clothes are fitted. I'm not saying he's always going around wearing a tuxedo and whatnot. But he's always clean, and he does do his shoot 'em up cowboy stuff, and he's also the police officer and whatnot. But man, this guy is kind of, again, like a different personality, but again, kind of like John Wayne. He knows how to get the job accomplished. He is good at what he does, but he doesn't need to go around bragging about it. And not everybody likes him, is drawn to him. And in certain, obviously, in like Magnum PI, all the women thought he was hot and stuff like that. Yeah, I get it. I do. He's played a lot of different roles, but he tends to be the same kind of guy in most everything he does. So that's why I don't pick a particular movie for him, because he's pretty much the same kind of guy. He's very thoughtful. He's very considerate of what's going to happen before he pursues the issue. And so I like to contrast Tom Selleck with James Bond because there's an elegance about both of them, but I don't find Tom Selleck to be over the top. I can find him to be more believable, in my opinion.
Okay, that's fair. And our D has disappeared again.
She's just
here, guys.
She's just trying really hard to make sure that she has to go third.
That's it.
So yeah, does anybody like Tom Selleck, or do they think that's a weird contrast?
I don't think it's weird.
No, it's fine.
My mom was in love with Tom Selleck.
It is. It's kind of old school.
It was like the opening crawl of the show. He did the thing with his eyebrows, and she would just go, "Oh, that Tom Selleck."
A little too hairy for me, but You know, yeah, that classic iconic mustache. Well, Mrs. R2, what would be your second?
So my second that I chose was Big Trouble Little China. I just felt like
more Kurt Russell.
I just felt like Kurt Russell. He was like so cocky in that movie.
Oh, thank you.
And dirty.
And I knew Archie was gonna hate me for it, but now that you said it, I'm fine by saying it.
What like a know-it-all, like he's like a know-it-all. He was like too good. He just all his catchphrases that he had in that movie as well.
Is that the one where it's like something about chewing bubblegum? I'm all out of bubblegum. Is that the one? Where
no, that's They Live.
Oh,
that was Roddy Piper. They
Here
live.
to kick butt and chew bubblegum, and I'm all
out of bubblegum.
That's a great line, though.
Jack Burton.
It is.
Jack Burton.
Okay.
Oh, God, so he's so.
I've never seen that one either.
He thinks he's so masculine, and you're like, tough guy is like, oh yeah, you know, Jack Burton's here, you know. And I'm like, shut up. I'm not going to go there because this is PG-13, but
right. I appreciate your discretion. Well, Mrs. R2, like, what's your contract?
My contract. I could go all over the place with this one, but I'm gonna say like Armageddon, like the dad who plays.
Oh, that's
right.
So gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So they go and they have the drill on the moon, isn't it? And they
yes.
The asteroid that's coming.
The asteroid. They had the
drill
on the asteroid, and like he sacrificed himself. Like, you know, he thought of his daughter, and he was there with his son-in-law, and he's like, you know, like he needs to go home and be back with his wife, and like I believe she was pregnant. So, you know, that's what I chose for the
close my eyes.
Oh my God.
Those are great.
That's a manly man. That's a manly man.
Yeah. So that's why I chose for my contrast on that one.
Nice. Well, you know, Bruce Willis for the win, pretty much all the time. I've never seen Die Hard, so I know that was like on the top. I know that's like when you pick the list of like most manly movies ever, like Rambo, Predator, Die Hard.
Predator,
yeah. They're all right there, but I've never.
Die Hard's my favorite Christmas movie. I watch it every year.
People, I'm not a big fan of cussing, and I heard like every third word is like an F-bomb. So, you know. Dan says he hated that song. Are you kidding? That's a fabulous song.
That's a classic.
It's a beautiful song.
Thank you, Dan. You're dismissed.
That's high school slow dance right there.
Not everybody likes it.
God.
Oh, Dan says no campfires though. So is it really? See, that's the thing too. If you guys aren't aware, here at Inside the Booth, it's not really a man's movie unless it has a campfire in it. So all of this is subjective stuff here. And if you agree with us and you're on board with that, in the link down below, you can find our merch shop where you can get instant man flicks. Just add campfire t-shirts available right now. But Maria, so we've got your second here.
All right, so I did my research, and I actually I looked up what women want. And amazingly enough, Jordan Peterson, I don't know if anybody, he's probably.
I love him.
Thank you. I love him too. He's like one of my heroes, and I actually met him in Vegas once.
Did
my
you?
Mom flipped. Yes, I saw him.
My boyfriend's sister she would die of jealousy.
She was like, I was like, oh my! It was 11 o'clock, 1 a.m. I was stranded in Vegas. But anyway, it's like I saw him at the airport. Like, oh my gosh, it's Jordan Peterson.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so I thought I looked at him and it says what women want, and one of the things is that what women find attractive in one of the characters is vampires. So I thought, well, let's look at some vampire cringy movies. Okay, so I know this is a guilty pleasure for many. I do not find any guilty
for many men or
in
just people across the board.
I think I would say women, because this is like directed for this movie's like directed to women actually.
Okay.
And I find it extremely cringy. Oof. It's like I can't watch that movie. And it is Twilight.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, but that's such a girl movie. It's not a guy movie.
Exactly.
movie
No, but
is
exactly.
so
That's
terrible.
the thing. That's the thing, because this is what supposedly women fantasize with. They fantasize with vampires like Edward. Okay, so
Ew.
so I thought, okay, let's find 2 vampire movies. One is cringy, and I thought, because he has all the characteristics of what supposedly a woman fantasizes with. He's like very, very, seductive and very silky, and he's supposedly handsome, but they put him terrible in that movie. Poor guy. Okay, Twilight. Yes, thank you, TD. You see, we're not bashing on men just for bashing on men,
No, of course not. We're not bashing on men in general. Like, this is about movie franchises, guys. So if you're a little bit butthurt, you might want to check your egos. Anyway, carry on, Marie.
Get a hemorrhoid cushion.
Just kidding. We love you guys.
This is so much fun. No, we love all of them. I work with 2, and you work with 3, Tabitha.
Yeah.
Guys, and they're great guys. So
guys are great.
So it's like the guy is so cringy, and the girl is just a bimbo, like you said. She gets into trouble every time, and when she wants to get his attention, she puts herself in danger. And I'm like, how cringy is this? I'm like, no,
what does that teach those young girls watching the movie?
That you can have absolutely no personality, and all the men will follow you around. That's exactly
Amber Heard. Amber Heard.
Shh, we dare not speak its name.
Don't want to invoke her.
No. So I thought, okay, let's contrast it with another vampire movie that it's probably gonna push it out like red alerts on everybody, but just bear with me, like you said. And I contrasted with the character that Brad Pitt does in Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah,
Louis?
Yes. Okay. So no,
I read the book.
Is Tom Cruise in that one too?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And actually, this is gonna hurt a lot of people, but I actually liked Tom Cruise in that movie.
I could never imagine him as a vampire. Like, wow.
Again, you see, there you have it. So anyway, but bear with me. I'm not talking about Tom Cruise. I'm talking about Louis, the one that did Brad Pitt. They're 2 vampires who are supposedly, they are very, obviously they're attractive. They are heartwarming. They are thoughtful. They are protective. But Edward is just,
a weenie.
Exactly.
Somehow he's like 82 billion years old, but he's still immature teenager.
Yes.
Vampires don't sparkle in the sunlight.
This is true.
And they don't go to high school. They don't go to high school. Why would you want to go to high school for eternity? That is hell.
That is such a good point.
That's a good point. No way, man. I'm out. No, I've had enough of my high school. Thank you.
No kidding.
To be fair, though, Maria, I will have to point out what Rogue Disney said, that neither one of those are manly films.
Well, we're talking about manly, cringy manly.
Cringy manly. So, yeah, you're right.
So
or lack thereof in Edward's case.
Or lack thereof. Yes. In this case, there is no. In Interview with the Vampire, it's it does have it's manly kind of stuff. But the thing that I wanted to put up is these are movies in which women fantasize with, and Edward is like the last person in a healthy way. In a healthy way, it's like somebody that you will enter into a relationship with. And Edward is just like this is the last guy I would like to
yeah, I mean, in contrast, Edward compared to Maverick from Top Gun. Maverick at least is alive, and definitely a lot more maturity than this other. Yeah. That's an interesting, nice little twist there. Very interesting contrast. And talking about, I didn't know vampires were going to pop up, so you never know what's going to happen on Girls' Night. Dani, what's yours?
Well, my number 2 was the same as yours, and I'm glad my boyfriend's in the other room. because
she's like,
he likes, and I like Bond films. I watch them with him, and you can't avoid them in this house because he likes James Bond the way I like Wonder Woman. That's his dude. He loves James Bond.
Sure.
But again, it's nothing but bimbos who are falling over themselves to,
The worst part is that they're not all
wrestle with them.
bimbos. See, that's the part that bothers me.
Well, let me get to there. So if you notice, so I hadn't really sat and watched Bond films until I got with Dave. And so we spent about a week. We would watch Bond films while we had dinner. And after a couple of days, I noticed a pattern. And I said, you realize every woman he gets with dies. Like every single one. Every single woman that Bond spends quality adult time with ends up dead. Everyone. So here,
Christmas Jones, I don't think she died.
Well, I don't know. But the point I was at.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They all end badly.
Yeah. It all ends horribly. And maybe she doesn't die. I can't be 100% sure. I'll have to call Dave in to find out. But they all die in
horrible ways.
He's sleeping with all these randos, and you're telling me that he's not having to go get a shot of penicillin every other day?
Exactly. Because
why is
comes
that
perfect
acceptable?
and easy for Bond.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
No. At least
and
the original ones.
Why is that acceptable for him? Had it been a woman spy running around doing all that stuff, just imagine the backlash.
No, I don't want to imagine.
She would be called. Well, I'm saying just imagine what people would call
he's
her.
A hero, but she would be a skank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. And he's not really given any other thought to these women. He's just like, well, thank you. Bye. And they die.
They're meaningless to him.
Yeah. They're just like, whatever. And he's celebrated. Everyone just, Miss Moneypenny, just, she's dying for her chance to get to him. And just, I mean,
so
quite possibly, Moneypenny has more power than he does. She's the assistant for the director of this whole program. She's got her eyes and ears and fingers all over all this information, and she had to work hard to get to the position that she's in.
Yeah,
and yet, this woman that is supposed to be so smart and capable falls for his BS every time. Like he smacks her on the behind and makes her giggle.
Where's HR?
Yeah. Okay, that's
doesn't have HR.
That's a Form 16B, Bond. I'd watch it. Keep them fingers to yourself. I'm a trained agent too.
Like what happened to no relationships in the workplace? Yeah.
Exactly. Ouch. So that's my beef with that. And like I said, I love spy movies. I think the Bond movies are great, but come on. Come on. I mean, he was an orphan, and then I think M took him in, and that's how he got started in all this, but
still not it's not still not acceptable to behave that way. You need therapy is what you need.
There's clearly something going on up here that there's no permanence. Everything is replaceable, everything's disposable and temporary. And that, I don't know about you, but growing up, and even as a 40-year-old woman, I've known a lot of men that have behaved that way. And that's just unacceptable behavior. But for some reason, that kind of stuff is like, oh, he's such a stud. Look at him. Like, why? Ugh, it's gross. But my contrast to that would be the Kingsman. Kingsman with Taron Egerton. I get him and Joel Edgerton. Okay, so Taron Egerton, he plays Eggy in the Kingsman. And he comes from a poor family. Like his dad was an agent, but his dad died. And he was raised by his mom. He had a crap stepdad and lives in kind of this rundown apartment in London. And he's brought into this agency where he is taught, he is trained. He's not just trained in, espionage and warfare and weapons and hand-to-hand combat. He's trained etiquette and manners. In fact, Colin Firth says many times, manners maketh the man.
Bravo.
Yes.
Well, didn't John Wayne say in one movie, like, I like that, the guy's like, I'm trying to be a gentleman. He's like, well, you have to be a man first before you can be a gentleman. And it's like, yes, exactly.
Nice.
So,
Very nice.
That's interesting. Like, I may or may not have seen one of the Kingsman movies.
I love the Kingsman movies. I love them.
There were some things in there I wasn't aware would be in there when I watched it, but it was pretty interesting for sure. The parts that I did enjoy, and you're right. You're right. There is a little bit more responsibility and maturity.
And his character earns everything he has. Everything from his position in the Kingsman to his girlfriend that we see in the second film. He earned all of that himself. It didn't magically appear, and you don't see him running around and, I can't, it would be really funny if I could say it. Killing women with his pelvic sorcery, we will say.
Oh God.
Right.
But you get my point.
I got you.
Yes, we got it.
Yeah, I hope that, again, the men that are in the chat, you understand. I feel like we need to keep saying this.
Yeah.
They have short attention spans.
This is just about, like, I hope that you might be noticing a reoccurring theme with all of us ladies. If you're paying attention, if you're just focusing on the fact that we're bashing movies, you're probably missing the point. But again, there are a lot of movies that we love and we enjoy, and this is just, we know, like we keep saying with James Bond films, I watch them, we watch them, we enjoy them. It's just, there are things about it where we're like, this is cringe.
Yeah,
totally.
this doesn't make sense.
This doesn't make sense. I can't get past it. It's cringy,
Like, it's just my silly lady brain having silly lady thoughts.
Rogue says you're more bashing the women. Yeah, this is true. Like, those women, if they end up with syphilis, they deserve it. I'm sorry.
Yes, exactly. They do.
Don't be such an idiot. Anyway, so sorry. Like, everybody knows he's a womanizer. He is a whoremonger.
Yes.
But I want my chance with him because I'll be the special one.
Because I really want that really rare and special venereal disease that's named after him.
Oh God, please. That's so gross.
Right. So I'm sorry. So anyway, I will move on to my third one here. This is more of like the movie itself rather than individual people, but it's a lot of individual people from manly movies coming together, and that would be the Expendables.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's mine too.
Hey, when we did Maria, wasn't it? Did we have similar villains last time we did this? We're like, yeah. So I mean, it's inevitable. Yeah. Things are going to be similar.
Now,
but
I have to be clear. I enjoyed the movie. The Expendables. I enjoyed some of. I think the last one when they're all old and they come in the new generation. I enjoyed that one, but that doesn't mean that. I will say that
I did. I saw it in theaters, and it's so funny. I must have a different take on gore than most people and stuff like that. Like, my brother can handle a lot of stuff like that I cannot personally. I don't like it. I can't handle. But and like he was saying, man, that movie. He's like, a couple of times I had to look away, and I felt like I was going to get sick. And I was like, really? You could tell it was so fake. Like, it was bad. Like, but anyway, just some things. It's kind of like. Well, I'm just going to briefly mention this. It's kind of like Terror on the Prairie. There were a lot of things
I haven't
in
seen
there.
That yet.
If you have seen it, okay. Well, I'm not going to do any explicit spoilers here, but there are some things that you could describe as gory or very violent and harsh. Yeah, one of the scenes I didn't like in particular. Everything else, I'm like, this ain't so. I mean, it's not good, but I'm like, this ain't so bad. You know, like when I say it's not good, it's like it's still violence against people. But I'm like, it's all right. It's all good. Anyway, and that being said, guys, we are having a special bonus episode this week on Inside the Booth. We're reviewing Terror on the Prairie this Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So just let everybody know that's a bonus episode this week. So, but my third is The Expendables. So I just find this cringy. Again, I did kind of enjoy it, but it's cringy because it's so over the top. Like you can almost like, it's almost like there's a, you know, instead of 3D glasses, you get like 3D nose strips. You can like smell the testosterone coming off of the screen. Okay.
The sweat.
That's pretty much. I was going to say, that's not what I'm smelling.
That's pretty much what is coming off the screen. It's just like, they just got a bunch of, you know, very popular, older, legendary, you know, butt kicking dudes to get together to make a film so that they could do more butt kicking with just CGI. So this movie was kind of fun. I mean, I probably would watch it again, but it's just like, it's over the top because there's almost no point, right? Because it's just, you know, going into it, it's just like, it doesn't even need to be a point. There doesn't need to be a damsel in distress. There doesn't need to be a drug cartel. It's just literally a bunch of older legendary actors getting together to destroy stuff and kill people.
Trying to hold on to their
youth.
Their glory days.
With that being said, I'm going to contrast. This was really hard to pick between the two, but I'm just going to go with this. I contrast it with Denzel Washington. Okay. And the reason I do is because the fact that, much in the way like Tom Selleck, Denzel Washington doesn't go in guns blazing. He does if he has to, but he doesn't all the time. He's thoughtful about what he's going and intentional about what he's going to do. He's confident in his abilities without feeling the need always to just, you know, kick butt and chew bubblegum. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's a pretty good like action star for what he does. He's not, obviously he's no Rambo or whatever, but I think even if he was, he would do an amazing job at it. And when he does his movies, I don't really think they're just for the sake of making an action movie. Like there's more of a point to it. So I would contrast Denzel Washington with the Expendables.
Well, actually, I would add this. Denzel Washington goes more of a Shakespeare take in his movies.
Have you ever seen him in Much Ado About Nothing?
Yes.
No,
he was brilliant in that. It was really cool.
He did Macbeth recently too. I haven't seen it yet, but I'd love to. I love Shakespeare.
You see, that's the thing. That's the quality of it's like and Shakespeare's dramas are really dramas. I mean, they're
really
brutal.
Intense. Yeah,
they're really intense. So we're not talking about you can get some butt kicking, you could say, in a sense, but there's more quality and more depth to it. So
usually it's a lot more political too. Yeah.
I guess. But anyway.
So
good choice.
Yeah, that would be. I know it's a little bit unconventional there, but Mrs. R2, if you're ready, because I can't keep you hiding behind that. She might be blowing her nose. We don't know. But if she's ready, if she's not, we'll just kind of bounce down to Maria until she's ready. She's not coming on the screen, so Maria, go ahead and take it away. We'll wait for her to come back.
Well, actually, Dee took my third one, which was Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, okay.
Gosh. He's so cocky. And sorry, R2, I know he's your hero, but I just can't stand him. And when we watched it for the review, it cost me a lot, but I was thinking of you, and I was thinking, I got to do this for R2 because he really wants to do this review.
Look at you taking one for the team.
I made it through. I really made it through, but oh man, it was yes.
I feel like you walked away scarred.
Let's put it this way: I would take a lot of time off that movie to watch it again, if I had to. So, right. So, I know it's a comedy movie. You see, here's the thing. Big Trouble in Little China is actually supposed to be a stereotyped comedy. So they stereotype the man that they want to be. cocky and he's arrogant and he thinks he's all that, and the women are just swooning all over him. Okay, and the problem is that there are no women that are swooning over him.
Okay.
So, oh my gosh, I'm so scared now.
The clip is after it again.
Clips is on. Oh man. Okay, so I guess that's why, because they kind of pushed it all the way to the comedic side. Is that this is what supposedly men want to be, you know? Right. And all the women are supposed to be fawning over him, and they're not. They're kind of pushing him around. So that's kind of funny. But the guy I just couldn't stand. In contrast to, Big Trouble in Little China is, I really wouldn't say it was a really very big contrast. It's like really difficult because,
yeah, it can be.
Because you think, well, what kind of a person, could contrast this cocky thing? And I was gonna say, like Mr. Darcy, but that was my extra one, like my honorable guess, because Mr. Darcy is like very like the it's too broad. So I was thinking, this is like I'm going to shove him for honorable mentions.
Okay.
But I really don't know because I just hated the guy. Well, I can't say this. I guess if you want to contrast like violence with violence, I would say Russell Crowe in The Gladiator. I really like that character. I really like that man. Yes, he was no business. He was ruthless. I mean, he was a general in the Roman army, so he did have to have that strength, that he had to be a pillar. His wife and his kid were
crucified.
They were murdered. They were murdered. So so you don't have all this swooning and fawning. No, you have like a hurt, scarred man that's going to fight not for his life now, but he's going to fight for, kind
of like the memory of his family.
Yes, because you could say freedom. Nah, that's William Wallace.
Yeah,
want to fight for the freedom.
Freedom.
Oh man, that part. I swear that part that makes me cry. I really, So, yes, Gladiator was a man's movie, and you know what? I liked it. I love Gladiator, and another man's movie I would say would be Master and Commander. Another great movie, another great Russell movie, and I would say that's a man's movie. There's absolutely no romance.
Very underrated.
Yes,
and it's extremely good.
The Lesser of Two Evils.
Yeah.
I say that from now. I forget that people don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm like, well, it's the Lesser of Two Weevils. I just say that. Weevils. Not realizing people don't know I'm quoting a movie.
So I guess I know it's like a big, huge contrast. We're talking about two different eras, but I guess the character. We're talking about two characters that are like macho, supposedly strong men, and I would say that you have the Russell Crowe, and then you have you have the Kurt Russell in that one, because Kurt Russell in Stargate is incredible.
Yeah, it was incredible. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's not hate about the actors themselves. It's about the characters that they're playing. I don't know if Mrs. R2 is back yet or not. There she is. If you go ahead and give your final thoughts.
So for the third one, it's actually the franchise, Fast and the Furious, because I thought they should have stopped after like 2.
Yes.
Stopped after like 2.
Really? Terrible.
Oh, yeah. I love me some Fast and the Furious. That is my go-to summer franchise every year, except I stop at 6. Because after that, it's just weird.
It goes up to 10? It goes up to 10.
I get so worried about you.
Okay, Tokyo Drift sucks, but everything else, I was like,
I haven't seen any of the Fast and Furious.
It's my go-to summer franchise.
I probably seen up to Tokyo Drift, but I was like, they could have probably stopped after the first 2, and I would have been, okay with that. But I was like, okay, yes, your car is faster than his car, you know. Like,
I just think it's so cool.
And now they're jumping buildings and
now
flying through
that
the
stuff's
air.
ridiculous. That stuff's getting so stupid.
Now it's ridiculous.
I haven't watched like the last 4 or whatever, however many there are, because I'm like, okay, now we're doing stupid stuff. It used to be about car racing. I liked that. Now it's about car racing and espionage, and now it's just cringe. Like I agree with you. I like, yeah.
And for like a contrast, I can't really think of a contrast that kind of goes with the Fast and Furious.
Right. Just be like a documentary about truckers.
Yeah.
Yes. Basically.
Real men.
Ice truckers.
Traversing the ice, the mountains. Look at the ghost's comment. Most manly fixes are men's fantasies. Well, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the contrast, a women's point of view on cringe, like why, basically a women's point of view on manly movies that we find cringy. And we're giving you the reasons why we think they're cringy. It's, again, no disrespect intended to men as part of the human race. It's no disrespect to the actors themselves for taking on these jobs. Got to pay the bills somehow, and maybe they really enjoy it. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's every man's dream to be this suave, sophisticated babe magnet who gets to jump across buildings and shoot people for a living. Of course.
It's Dave's dream.
So we're just telling you from a woman's point of view why we find this to be cringy. And I'm just saying, guys, we're not hating. We're just giving information.
We're just participating.
If you are single, you should be listening. I mean, even if you're not single, listen to what we are saying. Okay? I'm just saying, read between the lines. You might find some gold here. I'm just saying. But okay, Dani.
Okay, so my third was the same as yours, Expendables, for basically the same reasons. So I won't really repeat all of them, but I will add on that they're one-dimensional. There's no emotion. There's just the one emotion.
Right. Anger.
You know? Yeah. It's just, it's so one-dimensional. It's so flat. It's so much like a cartoon. You know, it's on a piece of paper. My contrast for that are the John Wick movies.
Oh,
because there is a lot of action and fight
ridiculous
sequences.
Action, yes.
Yes, and ridiculous weapons and crazy storylines, but there's heart. There's actual emotion. There's layers to it. It's not one-dimensional. You know, his wife died, and you know, then they try to, like they're in the car, like it gets you, you know, you feel that. And Keanu is really good at portraying that stuff. You have a John Wick gun?
I do have the John Wick gun.
Let me see it.
I'll go get it.
Go.
But that's
never happened.
Yeah.
That is interesting. It's right. Never heard a man's dog. That's interesting. I never would have thought of John Wick, but that's brilliant. I enjoy those movies. And I didn't watch the first one because I was told it wouldn't be up to my personal tastes. But you don't. It's one of those funny things where I was told you don't actually need to watch the first one to understand all the rest of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So I did. I like binge watched them like back to back. I'm like, this is cool. I mean, it's the same moves. It is. It's over the top. It's the same moves over and over again, constantly. But somehow I still find myself watching these movies, and I cannot wait for the next one
because there's layers to it. There's depth. You know, there is heart. And the Expendable movies, they've got over-the-top action, over-the-top masculinity, and it's just one-dimensional.
Wife, okay, that sucks, but you kill my dog, I go to war. Yes, it is ridiculous. Let's be real. It's kind of a ridiculous.
I mean, those are the rules in our house.
We got the priorities on the wall. See, so I mean, hopefully you can see there are some ridiculous movies out there that are still good. Like, they're still good. There's just maybe something missing that personally, we would wish they would be there. These are all really great. I've had a fun time with this. I know it's been a couple of times like walking on eggshells.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we are tripping. I mean, it's almost like as if we were talking about the Star Wars franchise. My goodness.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. You know, so we're steering clear of that though. But hopefully everybody has enjoyed this particular girls' night. It got a little deeper, I think, than the last couple of girls' nights that we've had, but I've enjoyed it. Time for a quick round, if I could, a really quick round of honorable mentions. I was also going to mention Mel Gibson and Russell Crowe, and I was also going to throw in Patrick Stewart. Lot of different variety there, but I still find that they exude a lot of masculinity without needing to try. And so thank you, TD. He says he still loves us. Although Matt Bader says he can never forgive Bloodsport or Rambo. Hate, I guess, that was given to that. You know, again, we're all different people.
But James Bond was okay. I'm shocked.
I know, right? So my honorable mentions: Mel Gibson, Russell Crowe, and Patrick Stewart. Mrs. R2, do you have any honorable mentions?
Well, I had Russell Crowe also, and Bruce Willis.
Nice, yes.
Yeah.
David says he's not offended by our cringe opinions. They're not cringy opinions. They might be. Maria, do you have any honorable mentions?
Dax read my mind. Denzel Washington is my honorable.
I mentioned him. Okay, Dax?
Yes.
I mentioned him.
Yeah. And Kenneth Brennan, or Brennan.
Who is that?
Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah.
I think who's that?
Much Ado About Nothing.
Which one?
Yeah.
The main guy.
Okay, he does Hamlet, and he also does guys, you guys know more about this.
He directed Thor: The Dark World.
Yes, that's one.
Are you talking about the guy from Harry
and
Potter?
Henry V.
Yes.
Yes. You mean Lockwood. Yes, Lockhart. Yes, I hate him, but he's great. The guy, I mean, the actor is just so good.
Yeah.
I really love him. Denzel Washington, Kenneth Branagh, and Branagh.
Branagh. It's Scottish.
God.
We're all probably saying it wrong. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are my honorable mentions.
Dani, who are your honorable
Tom
mentions?
Hardy.
Oh.
He's manly and he's super attractive, but he's still just like, he's just, you can cuddle him, you know?
He's not what comes to mind when I think of someone to cuddle with. I will say I don't pick Tom Hardy. Like, I really could snuggle with someone right now. Tom Hardy, not for me.
Depends on how you cuddle.
Either any kind of cuddle. I would not go to Tom Hardy.
I don't cuddle, period.
But speaking of that, guys, I'm really sorry, but I have to go. It's kind of late here.
Oh,
I know.
No.
I'm sorry.
We were almost done. We were just going to do our bonus question. Do you have time for our bonus question then, Ryan?
I have time for time for that.
And just to mix it up, we'll go first with this. So our bonus question is going to be the cringe movie that is basically, or guy, that you actually enjoy despite him being, or the movie being cringy. If you don't have it right away, that's totally fine. This is usually where I just kind of give a plug. So I'll give you guys, you ladies, a little bit of time to think here. I just want to say to everybody really quickly that I really appreciate you hanging out with us and being around with us for this show. I know it's been a little rough for some people. Again, please don't think, look, we all think men are great. Love men. Men are fantastic. God made men for a reason. God made women for a reason. We are perfect together in what we're meant to be in this world. This is no reflection on men. You might, again, have noticed a current theme is that a lot of times the difference between men and women when we view masculinity, guys think about being tough, rough and tumble, and go get 'em kind of people. Whereas most women tend to look for somebody who is a protector, but is a provider and a comforter. And so that's just kind of the take most of the time for women. And so when we look at people like James Bond, we don't really get that. You know, he might know how to kick butt and chew bubblegum at the same time, but he's not all that in a bag of chips for most women. But at the same time, we enjoy these movies. So, but anyway, I hope that you enjoyed it. Please feel free, if you're new here, please feel free to subscribe. Give us a like if you enjoyed this episode. If you got a comment on more Girls Night episodes, if you enjoy Girls Night, let us know. Leave us a comment. Please be sure to visit everybody on their own channels and try to support everybody. Of course, they're all in the description box below. And I hope that everybody has a fantastic night as we get ready to wrap things up here. All right, so Dani, if you want to go first, who is your, if you will, guilty pleasure or somebody or a franchise you enjoy, even though it's like cringe?
Chris Hemsworth. I know Thor: The Dark World is just, it's one of the worst MCU movies, but I just love Thor. I love Chris Hemsworth as Thor. He's just so perfect at it. And not only is he's masculine and athletic and strong and pretty and he can beat things up, but you can tell that you see the emotion, he emotes very well. He's got personality and he plays it with depth and with heart, and that's what's important to me.
Oh, gosh. So. Absolutely. Okay, Maria, we'll go to you.
I gotta go. Bye.
Dani, thank you so much for being here.
Bye. Love you guys.
Have a great rest of the evening. She's awesome.
Oh, you got me. You so got me, because I was gonna say, I'm probably going to have a lot of hate for this, but
it's too late. We're in deep now, so go for it. I told you to bring the fire, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. I was like, this is going to be so on fire. You said, bring it. The character of Iron Man, like the first movies, I haven't seen them completely. Like, I've seen parts of it because they do kind of go a little bit off of my taste, right? But he is a character who is a playboy, but at
playboy,
the same
billionaire,
time,
philanthropist. Yeah,
exactly. That's like cringy, but but you still say the guy is great. The guy is great. Especially when his character like evolves. TD, I didn't say Deadpool. I could have said Deadpool, but no, I went for Tony Stark. TD, please.
No, Matt Bader says Tony Stark is awesome. My wife loves him. There you go. See.
Now the thing is that I guess it's like the progress. The beginning of the beginning of his character is where I find it cringy. But afterwards, when he gets to like when he starts off in I guess the Avengers, the first one, when they all get together, he does show he's still cocky, he's still a playboy, he's still a philanthropist, a billionaire, but he also shows a leadership. And he confronts things that are really difficult, and he stands up for it. And that is what makes me love him.
Yeah.
That's what makes me love him. And then afterwards, in the movies, afterwards, it's like he's not two-dimensional. He, like Dani said, he gets depth. And obviously his grand performance in the last one in Endgame. So I guess that. There we go.
Well, Mrs. R2, do you have one? If she says Vin Diesel, I'm gonna laugh.
Vin Diesel.
Yeah. Should be like Dominic Toretto.
No, for cringe, I'm like, I was gonna say Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I loved him in The Predator. It was like a manly movie that I like.
Yes, there you go.
Yes. So
good.
That's
good
that's
movie.
what
Predator is good. Predator is very good.
I have to go with Maria's. Mine was going to be Tony Stark as well. as much grief as that man gives me, as far as like when I watch it and I'm just like, ugh, what a jerk. I'm like, he is so freaking awesome. I don't know why. Is. So I mean, there is an element to be said that there are some things that women are attracted to. I think it's for guys and girls, for men and women. Yeah. There is some element of cringe that we're all drawn to on the screen, but not in real life. I think that is kind of where a line is to be drawn. I could not be around somebody like Tony Stark. I used to be around somebody like Tony Stark, except for the money, right? Didn't have any money, and nor was he a genius, nor was he a philanthropist. But he had that arrogance, and he was good at everything he did, and all that kind of stuff. And like you're kind of drawn to it because they do fun things, but you at the same time don't like it, and so it's like it's better on screen. It's kind of like Sheldon Cooper on Big Bang Theory. I've met so many people that think he is awesome and he's hilarious and so funny, and they love the show because of Sheldon Cooper, but they would never in their life be around a person like Sheldon Cooper. So I think there's just, maybe it has to do with, you
remind me of the movie. You remember that movie with Brendan Fraser, in which he was wanting to get a girl, and then he signed a contract.
Bedazzled.
I've never seen it, but I've heard of it. Bedazzled.
Okay, yes.
He signs away his soul to the devil, who's this like hot chick.
Yes. And then he says, I want to be like this, because he's actually trying to get into the mind of the woman, and he says, I want to be, I want a person who's sensitive. I want to be the most sensitive person. And in the end, he ends up being himself and finding his true love. So, when you mentioned this, it's like manly movies. I thought that this movie was like, this is really interesting, because this is what men think women want, and then, it's like, what happened?
Yeah, definitely. We are definitely created and wired differently. Olga says, I'm attracted to Batman. Yeah, it depends on the Batman. I always thought Val Kilmer will always be my favorite Batman. I'm just saying. I think it's just because, look, don't at me now. Like, and on that note, thank you again, guys, for being with us tonight. We hope that you enjoyed. I know it's a little bit kind of, like you said, kind of a rocky patch there with this episode, but we need these conversations. We need to enjoy one another, and we need to be adults about things and like share our opinions and give and take and whatnot. I mean, Mrs. R2 over here doesn't like Fast and the Furious, and I'm upset. But that's okay. I'll get it.
You don't like Top Gun, and I'm upset.
Look, but I love Maverick. Like, that was really great.
Okay.
I love them both.
Fair enough.
I could go the rest of my life never watching Top Gun again, but I would easily watch Maverick tomorrow night. So, but anyway, Kaylee, thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody. Matt Vader, Dax, Olya, TD, Road Disney, R2, of course, and we had Jacob Ironside and so many others. Dan and David, of course, they were here supporting the channel, and so many others. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you, and those that share and retweet and everything like that. You can follow Inside the Booth on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Inside the Booth. And again, we've got the links down for everybody down below, and we just hope that everybody has a great night and doing good things. Stay kind, and don't forget, Thursday night special bonus episode where we are going to review Terror on the Prairie, the latest Gina Carano film. It's going to be full of spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, you need to. It was pretty well, I'll tell you what it is on Thursday. I'll see everybody on Thursday, okay?
Have a good night. Try not to ogle my caboose as I walk away.